That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. AM1. AM1 Free Energy testing out a live stream on this channel, this account, seeing what it do. Talk a little bit about my inspiration, motivation for doing this particular work. Inspiration, motivation. Been doing interacting with this YouTube thing for a while. In some other kind of sectors in this YouTube space, YouTube arena. Let me test out a couple things. Okay, okay, stream coming through. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. Shout out to StreamYard for making it happen. Just launched this channel about a week ago. On my other main channel, we've been talking a lot about health, wellness, mental health, a lot of different things, right? I mean, we all have a lot of different challenges going on, and overall more and more challenges that we all have to deal with. Like we all have our personal life challenges, but at the same time, there's group things that we're all facing that we all got to deal with, right? But our ability to deal with these things are directly relative to how well we take care of ourselves straight away, right? And I mean, for folks that have families out there, children, it's super serious. It's time to get serious. A lot of people are not happy about their health, their lifestyle choices, how they eat, how they just get down in life, period. So this is something that we have to address. It cannot be overstated. Been making a lot of changes myself lately over the past decade, 15 years, the last 5 years. Everything just more and more hyper compressed. Like as more time goes by, I'm making changes and seeing benefits and seeing results in a faster and faster way. And it's extremely motivational. And I'm inspired to be able to share that with people because I put myself in a position to where I have more freedom, more options than most people I know. And it's kind of disheartening because then I talk to people about the things I'm doing, and a lot of people have excuses as to why they can't do it, won't do it, don't see some of the pitfalls. And not that I have it all figured out, but for the things I do have figured out, it seems only right that I share that with my friends, family, loved ones, right? I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? So just thinking about the idea of like my inspiration for this, sharing that, right? It puts me in a place to where I have a lot of bandwidth, a lot of energy, just positive vibes, good energy overall. One of the things that allow for that is me focusing on my health, fitness, staying in shape, hitting the gym. Used to be a gym rat when I was able to go to gyms frequently. As you know, within the last couple of years, there's been funny business with the gyms to where you may or may not be able to just go to a gym like that. I live in California, so there was definitely some issues with that. So I had to adapt, right? So I mean, both flex weights, working out at home, getting more out in nature, and that's one of the pillars of what I now call the AM1 free energy system. Nature, proper rest. That's something that has always been a challenge for me. Just literally having trouble sleeping, and then just cracking the whip on myself to make sure that I get to sleep at a specific time. Kind of night owl kind of person, right? So just making sure that I could really flex like that and get more sleep. And that's something I've had consistent challenges with all the way up until the beginning of this year. And like I said, everything hyper compressed, right? Even in the last 2 years, this whole situation that's come about that has a lot of people living in very unhealthy ways. One of the most unhealthy ways is fear. This has put people in a situation where, or living in fear, but for myself specifically, that much more motivation to learn about my body, how it works, and to conquer some of these challenges that I've even had to deal with. So made a lot of changes. Everything got real serious, and it was based on health, right? People being afraid that they're going to get sick. For me, I said, okay, well, that's all the more inspiration and motivation. Specifically, necessary evil was good. I was wondering if you would see this. Yeah, just I realized I could use this to push through a live stream over here. So I just wanted to come test it out and just drop a little live stream video just to kind of welcome the people. 200 subs real quick. Shout out to, of course, your support, everybody else who supported that. And obviously, we want to get this to 1,000 ASAP. I really don't want to make this to where I'm consistently doing live streams here, but I might. I'm gonna create habits for myself, right? That's part of the free energy system, really hacking our own minds, hacking our own habits, right? And I want to make sure I'm not just live streaming here, and I want to give you guys that pre-produced content with the uploads and the premieres and all that. Play the YouTube game, the algorithm. Sorry, I'm late at the job. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, this was all impromptu. I just, for whatever reason, went in here and tested it out. Oh, I was just trying to test out this other camera, went in StreamYard and was actually like, wait a minute, let me try this. Because I triggered the thing yesterday to see if I could go live. And sure enough, it worked. And I was like, oh, so this does actually override YouTube and let you do it regardless of the subs. Okay, we on to something now. So I was like, let me fire up one and see what it do, see how it plays out. And yeah, just to drop some more content. Dropped a video earlier. I know you peeped that, but just wanted to drop some other content. King Hebrew was good. Yeah, I was sending you see who's gonna check out that link. Come check me out on this impromptu live stream over on the Free Energy channel. Just wanted to talk about my inspiration, motivation for doing this. Obviously, maximize health, optimize health. Shout out to King Hebrew. Exactly. Again, big time thanks. Much love on the support. But yeah, just overall the health, right? I mean, this last 2 years, that's the inspiration, motivation enough, right? Really playing a game with people about keeping people in fear, keeping people unhealthy, but at the same time, attempting to convince people that some authoritative groups of people have everyone's health in their best interest, which obviously they don't. And we have to come to terms with that. We have to be serious about the fact that nobody's coming to help us. Nobody's coming to help us. I've already been okay with that, but I just want to inspire other people to understand that because ultimately I want to be surrounded by empowered people. Again, I don't have the answers. I don't have everything figured out, but I definitely know about standing on my own and coming for my power and not being at the mercy of social pressures, other groups, and whatnot. What other people think, even down to your own family, your friend groups, all that. You have to be able to stand on what you know to be true. Ultimately, basically, not being a follower, right? Being honest with yourself and going for what you know, but then at the same time being able to like really check yourself and apply it to like an objective reality type thinking. Like, am I moving in the best way for myself and to be a resource for myself and other people around me? That's how we have to be moving. If we move like that, we solve pretty much most of the world's problems overnight. A certain level of selflessness, service to others versus just strictly service to self. That's a big deal. Definitely it has to move in that direction. So I'm like, I do visual media and I'm a big health fanatic, right? So if I can put those things together and use a platform like YouTube and just the internet in general, right? I don't plan on just necessarily staying just on one platform, but kick it off here or my other channel, just got that channel monetized. And I do this kind of work for my clients. I'm a visual media consultant and producer based out of Oakland, California, the Bay, the Bay. You know what I mean? You feel me? That's how I move. That's how I'm rocking. But it's really about just upping the whole consciousness. You know what I mean? Upping the vibe. We got to do that. So part of it is I'm just motivating the people that have been tapping in with me to really look at what you're doing, take inventory on that. What are we doing? How are we moving? Are we moving properly? Let's do the health thing. Let's do the fitness thing. But I want to meet people where they are. I hate that phrase, but ultimately, my thought process is this. I want to be able to reach out to different people, and I understand not everybody can move quite like myself. Not that I'm all special or anything, but just to the degree that, different age groups, different levels of progress as far as working out. I've been working out for years. I've been doing a lot of things as far as my diet and lifestyle for many, many years. So there's no way I could like pop off a channel and give motivation, inspiration, and think that people could necessarily adapt my strategy straight away. So I figured I would distill it down to some of the most simple things you can do to start to move towards better physical health and mental health and just overall energy in general, right? The hardest, easiest things. It's about being honest with yourself, knowing what you need to do, finding out what you need to do, and having the discipline to take the action. I mean, it's nothing magical. It's nothing super insane what I'm saying. The idea is just to talk about it, present it in a stylish way if I can. I think my setup so far is pretty decent. I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Just wanted to come with a branding that, green, inspired by that kind of green, just, pop. It's athletic, it's sporty, but at the same time, it's a nod to chlorophyll, nature, plants, right? That's a big deal. I'm not vegetarian, but I do understand the power, the dynamics of plants and how that correlates to ourselves and our interaction with the sun and our, blood flow relative to chlorophyll, right? So in the exchange that we have with plants relative to oxygen and carbon dioxide. So that's sort of why I built out this free energy sort of theme with these greens and this kind of setup. Just give it something artistic, give it something stylish. And again, it's a work in progress. Again, I do this kind of visual media work, so I wanted to kind of pop off with something looking halfway decent. You understand? And flex a little bit because obviously doing this kind of work. Imagine me coming through with something that's kind of janky, not well put together. It's not going to look real official from somebody who claims to be a visual media producer or consultant. So I had to do it like that. I've had a lot of successes doing this kind of work. Bay Area, tricky place to live. But one of the biggest things that have enabled that and made that possible is focusing on my health and fitness, how I work out. Like I said before, I used to be a gym rat. I'm in the gym 6, 7 days a week. I had to force myself to take rest days because it's just the natural high of working out. And one of the biggest things that helped that was fasting, specifically intermittent fasting. It was a while before I got into more extended fast, but intermittent fasting has been like a key part of my lifestyle for years. Waking up in the morning, not having breakfast, immediately going doing cardio and working out my muscle group, getting my body specifically used to working out in a fasted state. That level of conditioning and adaptation, I've been doing that for over 10 years. So at this point now, as soon as I wake up, I'm not thinking about eating. I'm thinking about immediately getting some movement in, getting a pump in, getting the blood flowing, because it is a natural high. Endorphins, or however you want to look at that. But when I started doing more extended fasts, I hit some whole new levels. The whole like low carb keto diet thing, super interesting. And I mean, within this last decade of my life, I just use decade as that round number, even though it's been more like 12 years, right? To this point. Within this time, my life has changed in such drastic ways because I'm only 6, 7 years into working for myself as a freelancer, as a consultant. And part of what made that possible is my focus on creativity, right? Because I'm a designer, I'm a videographer, I'm an editor, I'm a motion graphic designer, but I also am slash used to be an event promoter. So I would curate whole events, put it together. I did a lot of work out here, a lot of damage for the culture, for the town out here in the Bay. I did a lot of things downtown Oakland, San Francisco, working with a lot of different promotions, help bring some people out, did some big festival type stuff, help promote for festivals, a lot of different parties, day parties, night parties, really keeping the dope music, the soulful vibes intact, really doing that. And between that and just my overall mentality, it was clear to me. It's been clear to me my whole life, but it became clear to me I'm not designed to just be working for people like that. I have to do something within my own power, within my own creativity. So I flipped the switch and really went out on a limb and just really let my creativity do the talking and let the mouthpiece get to work and really put some like Barry a grind type action out here. You feel me? And I made it happen. And staying focused on the health and fitness and just the focus helped that along vastly. It wouldn't have happened without that. So that's all a part of the deal. So behind the scenes, along with this creative type work and this overall kind of energy, that was always there. I'm lucky to have that to where it's like my fun, my hobby, my art is now tied to my livelihood. It's kind of tricky, right? Because then it makes it like kind of takes the fun of the art out of it. But then at the same time, I do work for myself. And as you see, we're in some precarious times where working for people can be an extreme detriment to your life, your livelihood, right? Because they pin people into certain fears and literally forcing people out of work relative to, forcing them to do things with their bodies. So that's where it comes back full circle again to what are you doing with your body? What's your inspiration for taking action on what you know you need to do? What's your motivation? Is it a career change? Most people have a job they hate or just barely like or just do it to go through the motions. And that's a pretty sad state of affairs, in my opinion. That is a pretty sad state of affairs, in my opinion. And I see it and I get it because I've been there, but at the same time, I'm not there anymore. And there's no way I'm going back. So every ounce of creativity and energy and just positive vibes are going to be put into creating a situation where I offer value. I bring value to myself. I'm a resource for myself and people around me. So again, that's what this is all about. So obviously, with this title, let's talk inspiration, motivation. I want to talk to you guys about inspiring you to be inspired to make changes in your life, and also for you to think about and talk about. Leave your message in the comments in the chat as you know you check this out. Shout out to the folks that came and held me down in this super duper impromptu first ever live stream on the AM1 Free Energy channel. Calling it free energy because, like I said before, I want to take away the excuses, right? The different levels of progress relative to this health, sort of like a specific focus. And I'm trying to think of a more chill way to say it. We need to have a sense of urgency about this stuff, right? So we really need to, yeah, exactly. I was irate today when they announced Pfizer fourth. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is about. This is one of my biggest motivations. There are groups of people who claim to be some type of representative government. They care about it so much, yet they are colluding with known corrupt organizations, known corrupt corporations, working governments working with corporations to force the population to do certain things. I mean, we really have to be serious about that. We really do. I mean, if we allow them to have it their way, it sets a precedent that we simply just cannot come back from if we allow them to take us down that road. And again, that's one of my biggest inspirations. And that's exactly why there needs to be a sense of urgency for moving this stuff along. So, I mean, if I got to even tug at your heartstrings to some degree, do you have children? You know what I mean? What are we doing here? Like that maternal, paternal uh, procreation instinct, when is that going to kick in and say, okay, we need to protect ourselves and defend our children, the next generations, right? Maybe you make a lot of money, you got a lot of fancy trinkets. They're going to come for that. They're going to come for that. Thank you, Necessary Evil. Yeah. Help push that. You know what I mean? I appreciate all your support on the streams and whatnot. Like I always tell you, big motivation. So, you know, you guys help me as I started to do it. You guys see how I kind of pivoted the content on my other channel. I wasn't sure if it was going to do, at least there within that space, what I wanted it to do. And a lot of people came and supported. And it's greatly appreciated. And the motivation is there. So here we are, even going live on this channel with over 200 people within a week. And that's my life in general, hyper compressed. The last 10 years, the last 5 years to 7 years, the last 2 years, now to the last 2 months. And we halfway into the third month, right? It's happening fast. So, free energy system. What things can we do to make changes in our lives, starting with things that are ultimately low to no cost? You don't need some fancy gym equipment. Let's go out in nature. Let's work with our body weight, different forms of calisthenics. Let's do that. But before we even get into the whole movement piece, let's really do the hardest, easiest thing, the mental, psychological discipline piece. That's what we got to get into. The hardest, easiest thing. That's a common theme you guys are going to hear me talk about as we move forward here. And I say it like that because it's a paradox and it's almost comical. I first said it as a joke. It's the hardest, easiest thing, right? So we're talking about what we put in our bodies. It's always going to come down to that. You can go lift weights, you can do all this different stuff, you can put poison stuff in your body, make you get bigger, make you gain more muscle, more protein, all this different stuff, but it might actually be harming you if you're not doing it right. We have to start with the most simple baseline, fundamental, primal thing. What are we putting in our bodies? And we have to go to that because, as Necessary Evil just pointed out, we have known corrupt corporations working with alleged representative governments to force us to do things that are not to our best interest. And they've hijacked the media to indoctrinate you with that. Again, I'm a big media guy. That's what I do for a living. I research that. It applies to the work I do. I don't work for big media news corporations. Luckily enough, I'm independent. I get to pick and choose my projects. I'll show you guys some of that stuff, or link you guys up to some kind of demo reel type demonstrations of the kind of work I do, just to give you more context of why this is so important to me and why I'm interested in doing this, and how ad- adopting these principles has changed my life and allowed me to be more creative and the successes I've had. And I'll show you the kind of work I do. I'm proud of it. I mean, I'm an artist, right? And I work with really creative people that are doing really awesome projects. And it's put me in some very interesting rooms, and it just made my life amazing. So when you start just applying those things and really looking at what you need to do, it's going to be a tricky game. Again, it's the hardest, easiest thing. Looking at what you put in your body, looking at what you consume. Let me get my little I was going over it. I'll give you some of what I call AM1 free energy, the foundational principles, also known as the main things. The main things. Let's go over some of the main things. AM1, free energy health system. Before we even get into the main things, I'm going to break this down. It's really about being honest about and understanding that we are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. There is no authoritative body or group of people that cares about us more than we care about ourselves, that's looking out for us. We have to understand that. We are definitely on our own. You are on your own. You're going to have to figure this thing out to the best of your ability. It all starts there. And again, these are my foundational principles of how I live. But if I can share this with you guys, and you guys can see some gems in this, some pearls of wisdom, and soak that up and apply it to your life, and it works, then all the better. And you guys work with me. If there's something I'm missing, I don't have it all figured out. It's always a work in progress. I am not of the level of some kind of hubris to think I got it all figured out by no stretch of the imagination. I'm just a big kid trying to figure this out, trying to stay youthful, stay creative, stay within my art, not be some torn down, beat up, broken person that's looking to hurt other people, hurt people, hurt people. No. I mean, that is a true principle, but I'm not looking to be that. I don't want to be a victim, right? We're not victim consciousness, but we do have to be honest about the fact that we are on our own. And that gets us into the foundational points, the main things. And I'm gonna just go over some of these real quick, and I don't want to keep this too long. So for the people that's checking me out for the first time, get a sense of my personality, kind of, chill mood right now. Catch me earlier after I'm on a couple of runs, my jogs and my workouts, and you'll catch me in a whole other kind of hyper energy. But I'm kind of on the wind down tip right now. Been waking up a lot earlier. Obviously, the time change thing just kind of did a little number on me. I'm adapting to a lot of different things, a lot of self experimentation with my diet, fasting, intermittent fasting, how I'm working out, more protein, less protein, more workouts, 2 a days, different muscle groups, all that. And I'm always manipulating things, trying different things. And I have a blast with it. My energy level is like through the roof. And then it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have ate that day. And I threw it off. And I tell people about, when I slip up and make mistakes. So it's people that's been kind of following me on this journey, they know how I get down and keep it honest, because nobody's perfect, right? Let me get into this real quick. Foundational points, the main things. The first one is autonomy, the right or condition of self governance. Again, we're on our own. We got to figure this thing out. And we have to have the focus and discipline that comes with understanding the responsibility that we have to figure this out. We got to figure it out. It's that simple. I mean, it has to start there. If you can't get down with that and you multiply that by 330 million people, approximate US population, or by 7.5, 8 billion people, whatever they're saying the number is for the world population. You multiply people saying they can't get down with trying to govern themselves. We got some serious problems, because there are people out there who would seek to govern us, and they're going to govern us to death. They're going to, you know what I mean? They want to govern us real hard. And we're seeing the signs of that. If the last 2 years didn't make that clear to you, you might be a lost cause, and this might not be the information for you, because we're going to get real serious and be real honest here, real focused here. Yeah, I don't want to be a participant with those trying to destroy my mental health, My mental or my health. Yeah, right. And yes, we have to look internally before we can be successful. Exactly. We got to do that. We got to do that, and it applies to myself as well. These are like literally my thoughts and how I move in life, and I'm expressing and sharing with you guys. So, the main things, autonomy, it starts there. Beyond that, we talk about on a day to day basis what we're doing, right? So, we're getting into movement. You wake up, you're in this body, this suit thing, this like super technical machine, this interface between some type of spiritual being and this body that interacts with this reality and is of this earth and has the nutrients from the ground and the soil and the plants and everything you've ever ingested, building your cells out. And from your parents, the genetic material. And then, of course, back in time. Then, of course, it begs the question, where did the first genetic material come from? We don't get into all that because we'll never figure it out. Well, maybe we will, but that's not the scope of what we're doing here. But we are going to get into some things relative to genetics and kind of what's going on. I've done a lot of research on this stuff, and I got some gems for you guys. But that's on the whole other level. We're gonna start with the basics, the basic things that I just rock with on a day to day basis. And I'm literally reading from a document that I'm building out because I'm writing a book. And I'm gonna share that book with you along the way in the form of some PDF booklets that kind of touch on some of this stuff, and I have a series of videos that kind of touch on these thoughts and just some of my general thoughts on these as I, again, build out on this sort of working, living document, right? Autonomy, the movement, right? So we got to move this body. We got this meat suit, body, spacesuit thing. Like literally, it's a time spacesuit. We're moving in some kind of 3D realm. Uh, and we're talking dimensions, like literal physical dimensions, forward, backward, side to side. You know what I mean? Like up and down, like the six directions. We're in space. That's what I'm saying. And then, of course, the movements through space lapsing over time. So, like a third dimension and a fourth dimension kind of situation. If you ever hear people say that, it's not some super woo woo thing. They're literally talking about the dimensions of movement. And that's something that applies to the work I do. Because if I'm designing something in a 2D environment or a 3D environment, I literally have to work with like a Y axis, Z axis, X axis. Like those are the dimensions or the dimensions of even a 2D presentation like what you guys are looking at right now. If I film this, it's HD, so it's in pixels, 1920 by 1080, 1920 wide by 1080 high. And the pixel depth, the resolution, this is all stuff that obviously I know it off the top of my head, but dimensions, right? So we're moving through this dimension, these dimensions with this body, this space suit. It literally is a time space suit. You wake up in the morning, you start moving. Then it becomes a matter of more movement, right? You do that before you're eating anything. You got to get up and get to the food. So you got to move first. So I take that and say, well, let's take that a little bit further. Let's build on that more. What if I get up and move instead of being so quick to eat, and consume? Let me go earn this meal. Let me earn my fun. Let me make it be fun. Let me go hunt for it, right? Maybe it's too easy and convenient that I can just go to the refrigerator or go to a store or go to a cafe. You know what I mean? Let me go move for it. So my strategy for that is let's go walk a few miles. Let's go jog a few miles. Let's do some squats. Let's do some push-ups. Let's do some handstands. Let's do whatever, some kind of movement. So just a brief touch up on that real quick. It was probably a little more than it should have been, but stuff is just how I'm in my headspace all day. After we get to the movement, and I'm not sure if I have the order of these right, but it's the consumption part, the eating part, what you eat. So obviously, nutrient dense food, you want to eat natural food. You don't want to put toxic stuff in your body. And that's just a whole other category in and of itself. I'm just trying to give surface level the main things, right? What you consume and what you don't consume. So that's the fasting part, intermittent fasting, the gaps between when you eat and you don't eat, the cycles. Simple. Another one of the main things and something I've struggled with a lot is proper rest and sleep cycles. That's a big, huge deal. If you don't sleep, you get sick, you die. Simple. Or you die slowly, or your energy is just low. All bad. Another big one of the main things is content consumption, right? We got all this content, we got all this visual media. I'm a visual media guy, and there's the idea of like a mind, brain, mind, subconscious mind, symbology, symbolic imagery, screens, frame rates. This stuff is a big deal. You have to focus on what you're consuming and be very intentional about that. This is a big deal. It cannot be overstated. We have to be conscious of that and be very intentional about that. Again, we need to be on this stuff with a sense of urgency. Plus, there's the whole issue of time, the ultimate non replenishable resource, time management in general. And so that is the next point. And I actually have to add time management as one of the main things, but specifically time in nature, right? Because the last 2 years made it very clear to us there are people who would like to bar you from moving about freely. So that's all the more reason we need to get out here and connect more with nature, be grounded more in nature, and see nature and movement in nature as a form of entertainment, along with it being to raise your energy and your health, right? As opposed to needing to go do usually destructive and wasteful things in the spirit of going out and being social with other people who, for the most part, are hardly conscious. So let's go in nature more. If we're going to be social, let's do it in nature more. But to one of my next main things in talking about that last social piece, solitude is a big one of the main things. Being able to not be like, I feel lonely if I'm not around people. I need to always have people around me. Solitude, very intentional interactions, really checking the level of benefit, mutual benefit from your connections and interactions with people, making sure you're not being some kind of energy leech or parasite. That's a big deal. So again, these are my foundational points, the main things. So this is me. This is literally from my mind, from my heart. So I'm telling you how I move in life. This is part of what I call the AM1 free energy system. This is what brings me better health and apparent is my recipe for success. And I've had some successes. So I see no reason to deviate from these things and only to just go deeper into these things. One of the last things I have here for the main things is creativity and hobbies. Now, like I told you before, I have the benefit of having this art. I've always been an illustrator, artist, big music guy, then got into the events and streetwear, fashion type stuff. And, I'm here in the Bay Area. There's a lot of culture here. I used to make beats. I used to rap, all this, whatever. Tied that all together. Fast forward. Now I'm just rocking with this type of stuff all day, every day. Cameras and visual media. This is just one of my smaller joints right here that I got chilling. So my hobbies and my livelihood, my art, all tie together. And then I just found another way to sort of complex that all together by creating this content for you as well. One of my other passions is this health related type information. Plus, you might not get it from my current energy right now, but I am an absolute savage about life and going hard for really trying to enjoy life to the fullest. And anything that impedes that, I want to fight it. I want to get it out of the way in a very savage way, in a very direct, blunt sort of way. That can even be actually pretty abrasive, but I'm just not. We'll get to that. You'll see more of that. You'll see more of that. I'm just trying to give you a little intro to what I'm doing. And more free energy health system, just showing you the main things, right? So we're on our own. We got to face up to that. It's all about that autonomy. We got to govern ourselves. The right or condition of self-government, governance. The movement part. We wake up, we move. We're in these bodies, we got to move them. We got to move them. We got to have the movement. Get your heart rate up, get your blood flow moving. All that. We're going to trim down the fat. We're going to do all that. We're going to worry about that later. How you consume, how you eat, the fasting part, right? We're going to make sure we're consuming the right nutrients, but really focusing on the timing, the nutrient density, and the timing of how we do it, because we have been taught to overeat and treat food like a drug, and that's totally unacceptable. We have to sort that out. Proper rest and sleep cycles. I'm just going back through it again. Content consumption, we got to focus on that, because if you guys are watching this right now, this is content that you're consuming. So you got to look at this and kind of rate this versus other content you consume. Hopefully there's value here. I'll say it like I said on my other channel. If you guys don't see value in what I'm saying right here, turn this off and go find something better that gives you more value. I'd rather you use time, the ultimate non-replenishable resource, to find value in something and not waste it listening to me, if of course you don't see any value here. And then, of course, relative to that time Time in nature. Go connect more with nature. Most of the stuff we deal with in this world is so fake, so synthetic. Literally, the structures, all of it, it's fake. The vehicles, everything that's made up, most of this stuff is fake. Most of it we don't need. And most of it, we just have to give up and stop complying with it. Like I say, it's the hardest, easiest thing. We're addicted to so many things, socially engineered, socially conditioned to buy into so many things, most of which we do not need to thrive in this world. We have to sort that out. Solitude and intentional interactions. You need time to yourself to sort out yourself and to be yourself. And this is a tricky game, especially for parents. Again, I don't have children, so I'm not exactly sure how best you do that, but there's value there. There is value there. That's part of my system. Again, I'm just telling you guys how I roll and what I do. And then the last one, again, as we cycle back through creativity, hobbies, got to have something like that. There has to be something that you express. Now, this could be literally some kind of artistic endeavor of whatever medium that you choose, or it could be a business, something that's adding value to yourself and other people, something that is unfortunately playing the money game, but money is just an analog for resources. So we got to get into these things. These are the points I'm going to be drilling a lot more down, a lot more into with this content. Just want to give you guys that overview. And one free energy system. These are the things I do to stay healthy. Tone Malone, what's good? One of my guys. So I'm back over in the chat now. So yeah, I'm just giving you guys a breakdown of my inspiration, my motivation for doing this, and just want to talk to you guys and we talk about. I want this to be interactive. I'm about to pop off this Telegram channel, Telegram group. So if you guys are interested in that, press 1. I can give you the link to some of that right now, but I'm definitely going to be dropping some content, and you guys will be getting a heads up of like when I'm going live. And I'm going to be putting some content on there that won't even show up on YouTube at all. So if you guys are interested in the Telegram group, let me know, because that's coming for sure. And there's going to be some gems over there without a doubt. All right. All right. All right. I'm going to let y'all know. I'm going to give you all that link. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. Where is it? I got way too many windows open. It's just way out of control right now. But let me see. I got it somewhere. I know I have it. I know I have it. We're going to get into some things. I'm going to give you guys a whole lot of resources. The whole way I'm going to set it up and deck it out is going to be real dope. And one. It's coming again. I appreciate you guys rocking with me again. I don't want to keep this too long. We're coming in about 40 minutes. Telegram channel. Have content over there. I already got a couple of the things here, promo videos and whatnot, things you guys have already seen here. But I got a lot more stuff coming up. So the more you guys support it, the more I do it. It's that simple. The more you guys support it, the more I do it. And this is I'm more excited about this project than any other project really I've ever done. And I've done some really dope things with my clients. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. Necessary Evil says, if we don't self-govern, we self-destruct. There it is. Because we are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's looking to help us out. They're going to set us up for failure. They were already doing it. They want to distract us with one thing, and then when that starts unraveling, they got to move to something else. They are playing us and setting you up, laying down booby traps for you to play yourself. Are you going to play yourself? Because they're going to set you up for failure. They're already doing it. What are you going to do? Just be goofy and let them do it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's getting more and more serious. Being social versus solitude, exactly. Managing time, connecting with nature, exactly. Proper sleep cycles, content consumptions, be intentional, exactly. Autonomy, movement, consumption. Yes, indeed. Big Pontiac was good. Earth suit, right? Yeah, it's a space-time suit for real. You saw how I broke that down. I don't want to be a participant with those trying to destroy my health. So just firing off some of the comments. Necessary Evil always supporting as well, of course. Tom Malone, one of my super duper day ones from my other channel. Appreciate you, man. It's great to see you in here rocking with me on this new endeavor. And again, I'm super duper excited about this. And believe me, just scratching the surface. Go back and check out the video I dropped earlier today. And there will be a lot more coming, obviously, from this channel. Just wanted to drop this live stream that I think went kind of dope. I wasn't even expecting to do this, just happened to check it and realize they gave me the live access. I'm like, we going live, we doing it. So yeah, AM1 Free Energy, that's what it is. That's what we're doing. Inspiration, motivation, getting that free energy, everything low to no cost. Focus on what you're consuming. We are on our own, but we're going to figure it out together. The people that really want to make those moves. Again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm going to shut that thing down, not to keep it too long. Much appreciated, y'all.